Hello, Sifu Mark Wynter here, coming back at you with another chat with my Sifu master Stephen Hwa. In this installment, we go through a large range of subjects stemming from healing all the way to fighting. So, I hope you enjoy this one, and if so, give me a like and subscribe. It helps out the channel immensely. So, let's get after it.
You're looking strong though, Sifu. That's good. Keep it up. Very good. Well, Sifu, thank you very much for coming on to this call once again. Just to see, if we could have another discussion.
Sure.
I remember from when we left off last time, that was a very, very, very intense discussion there, Sifu.
Yeah.
We had a whole lot of information that was passed through, and I'm glad that I was able to digest it all. So I remember last interview, you had said that we had touched on some of the most important points about small circle Tai Chi, right?
Yes.
To be internal discipline as well as posture, because we had spoken about the back and the neck being one, and the
right.
head top pointing up top.
And the knee ankle, knee is actually the back, spine, keep the spine. Knee is very important. A lot of Ajay people have knee troubles. A lot of them. Because a lot of them. And it gets a better reputation. Once, I talked to someone, I said, oh, I teach Tai Chi. They say, oh, it's tough on the knee. I will not try it. So it has a better reputation.
My teacher who gave me my classes,
Uh-huh.
right, she actually complained about her knees. And I always wondered why.
Yeah.
I wondered if we're doing Tai Chi, if you do Tai Chi correctly, you shouldn't have any knee problems.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Right. And that was my frame of thought before you had taught me about the knee not going past the toes.
Yes. And also no twist in the knee.
Okay.
So your movement, hand follow the foot, your foot has to turn with the body, so you don't have a twist. You don't, foot go one way, your body go the other way, then you have a twist in the knee. That's very bad for the knee, the twist.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like you're saying in the last interview, Sifu, the knee was just not designed to go in that direction.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. So the points that we, apart from the internal discipline and the posture that we spoke about last time, Sifu, are there any other really important parts of to small circle Tai Chi?
Well, okay, small circle Tai Chi, basically, one movement, you have to satisfy 3 criteria. One is health. Okay, you cannot hurting the health, and you should improve the health. The second is you are develop the power you inherently have, but most people don't utilize what they have. In other words, your maximum capacity in power, most people don't utilize it. They only use arm and leg, and they neglect the bigger power source, the abdomen and the back. So they are not utilizing the inherent power source they have. So they are not using their maximum power, in other words. So the Tai Chi is try to make you to develop that ability using the maximum power you inherently have. I'm not even talking about developing new muscles, okay? You already have those, but you are not using it. So that's the second objective, to develop the inherent power source you have that you can utilize. The third is in martial art application. So all the movements have to satisfy, like you will be able to neutralize opponent's power when opponents are coming at you. So the kind of martial art application usually talk about is neutralization. You neutralize opponent's power, how you do it. So you have to satisfy three conditions simultaneously in every moment. So it is a very tall order to design a system like this. You have to satisfy three conditions simultaneously.
Not a small feat.
That's not a small feat. Yeah. People usually concentrate on one, then they forget the others,
Yes.
So that's why I'm so admire the early founders, the one who designed the Tai Chi, how smart they are. Okay. And also they are technically capable, because here you talk about optimization toward the three objectives: health, and utilizing your maximum inherent power, and the martial art application. So when you design something, optimize three objectives, it's technically difficult. Even for nowadays, we have the technology to optimize in this way is very difficult. So, and also their knowledge, about health and everything is just as much as nowadays. But in fact, nowadays, people don't kind of think about it, but they thought about that at that time, 300-400 years ago. All the joints, health, and this kind of thing. So it's just amazing what these old masters can develop something like that. Yeah.
So Sifu, you're just talking about how's it yielding, right? Yielding as being one of the most. Would you say that yielding is one of the most important aspects to Tai Chi?
In martial art application, yeah.
In martial art application. So yielding would be what was the word that you just used again, Sifu? I say yielding. You said that, and anyway, doesn't matter, right? So yielding is important for Tai Chi application. So would you say that with that comes how do you say it again? Listening, the listening ability.
Yeah, listening. Yes, 听进.
I believe it's
listening. Yeah, listening. So when people attack you, you touch his attacking. You won't touch it. Okay. That's one thing. Tai Chi want to touch your opponent. Don't want to leave the opponent. That's the first important thing. You want touch, which is kind of different from other martial art. Other martial art, you probably want to keep a distance unless you attack, right? But Tai Chi wants you to in touch with the opponent. Now, once you touch, you can feel his attacking force. So you partially yielding, but partially deflect. Yielding and deflect toward you're actually kind of like induce the opponent into a trap. Okay, now in battles, those kind of things happen all the time. You kind of retreat and you induce the opponent attack, then you suddenly surrounded it into a trap. And Tai Chi the same way. So you are not frontal resist. So yield a little bit, but you are also redirect him toward the area you're going to have advantage. And he is going to have less advantage. Okay, so it's setting up a trap. Then at the proper time, you fighting and counter attack.
Okay.
So that's the standard thing in Tai Chi. You don't frontal resist. You always kind of you touching him, and you know his force, direction, and energy, so forth. Then you yield, kind of lure him into your trap.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the martial art application of Tai Chi is always doing that.
Okay. So in terms of martial arts application, Sifu, so Tai Chi, as Tai Chi players, we don't go out. We don't try to actively try and engage. We wait for someone.
We are defensive, basically a defensive martial art. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically a defensive martial. So we don't rush people. We don't do attack. They wait. Yeah. Actually, because of that, this is a very important concept. That's why all the Tai Chi movement come about is because that's the strategy. You don't rush people, but you wait for them to come and try to neutralize, try to redirect, get into your own trap. So that actually most of Tai Chi movement is because of that. The design of Tai Chi movement is because of that.
Okay. So Sifu, okay, speaking again on martial applications of Tai Chi, right? When you're showing applications like in a school setting, we're showing it in a very controlled way, in a controlled setting, right? If Tai Chi was to be used, say, on the street, right? If you're like just walking and someone attacks you, and would Tai Chi look more like a karate, kung fu kind of thing, or would Tai Chi look more like a wrestling, grappling kind of martial art? Like you hold, you break, and stuff.
Yeah, more like a wrestling type. In other words, you are trying to keep in contact rather than hitting and leave. Okay, hitting and leave, which is karate more hitting and go. But this wants to be in contact. Now, the thing is, now we call the internal martial art, so we can fighting, use our internal power. But so when you practice, you want to keep all your movement internal. So your internal energy is continuously circulating in your body when you play the Tai Chi form, right? Everything has to be internal. So every move, remember I said every move has to be internal. Now, but that's when you are practicing Tai Chi. But when you're actually, or even when you do the so-called, the push hand you do with Steve, for example, those are really still all internal. All your movement, when you attack, you should be all internal. But actual fighting, now, the difference is external movement coming in. Okay, so you are not everything in internal anymore. Okay, you have to mix internal, external movement, because in the actual fighting, you frequently have to reserve your internal strike, the fighting move, to the last minute. So you use external to work on the opponent, like to stretch him, make him taut. Then I using the Fa Jing, wham, get him off balance. You kind of save your Fa Jing internal to the critical moment. You think it is the most effective, then you use the internal Fa Jing. So you don't use internal all the time when you actually fight, okay? Because you're going to waste all your internals. You can use external mobile, and then pick the right moment, use the internal, hitting the opponent.
I definitely understand why you say it's the thinking man's art, Sifu, because you have time and everything.
Yeah. Then you wait for the right moment. For example, you have to wait. If opponent is still in a position that you Fa Jing, he can easily neutralize you. Don't forget, the opponent can neutralize you too. You Fa Jing, they recoil and neutralize it. Then your Fa Jing becomes not effective. So you have to manipulate with whatever means, external move, internal move, get to a point you find he cannot neutralize you, then you Fa Jing.
And all of this is learned through the practice of push hand.
First push hand, then there is the so-called sparring exercise.
Oh, okay.
First push hand. Push hands, because push hands is really train you in contact with the opponent. Mostly, you don't feel comfortable in contact with the opponent. Okay, because in external martial arts, you just hit one contact and that's it, right? You don't keep contact with the opponent. You don't feel comfortable. You tense up. So the push hand really train you to be used to always in contact with the opponent. So it's not easy, try to be in contact with the opponent and you be not tense, relax, so you can feel the opponent's power or Jing, listen to the opponent, that kind of thing. So the push hand really train you that. So once you train the push hand, the next step is sparring.
Okay.
Sparring is much more open to different technique, and it's almost impossible to teach. Push hand, I can still teach some methodology, how to go and teach. You come to sparring, everything is unpredictable. So there's no way I can teach. No way I can teach. So you have to practice, with certain partner. The Wu Jianquan and his father, they used to be in Beijing, have a school. After a while, father wants to go back to his hometown, just concentrate to teach Wu Jianquan. And several years later, people from Beijing, they really desperately need some teacher. So they come visit Wu Jianquan's father, and Wu Jianquan want to invite them back to Beijing to teach. When they walk into their hall, Sentu Hall, you see, in Chinese built houses, the Sentu Hall is, one of the biggest built room, just like a living room kind of thing. They find that the tile in the Sentu Hall all kind of broken, and all their furniture, Chinese, they all have those hardwood furniture, very strong, heavy hardwood, black, this hardwood. They all kind of broken. Well, Wu Juntin's father said, well, we are practicing sparring in the room, so everything is broken.
Wow.
Hit hard. And that time, their sparring is very intense. Sometimes get the injury, that kind of stuff too. Okay, you can't help. When you're full out sparring, you get injuries. Okay, yeah, and but they also, at that kind of sparring, the teacher have to have ability to use the chi to heal students' injuries somewhat.
Oh, and as you say that, Sifu, I just have to ask, just for reference, Wynter Tai was your Sifu's teacher, right? Yang Weibio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right.
And Wynter Tai, he from what you just said, that's why he taught Yang Weibio the healing part of it too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Right. And Yang Weibio used that as his profession to make money. In Hong Kong, he make good money as a healers in Hong Kong.
Nice.
Then five of his kids to the foreign country, to the US, to England to study, make that much money. Like
it must have been very good.
Yeah, like Yulin in California is one of his daughters, right? You find him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lin Yi Master.
Yeah, right. And he had 5 kids, I think 4 daughters and 1 son, all sent out to either America or England to study. And you did the healing.
Okay. Sifu, ever since you told me that about your teacher, Sifu, I kind of feel like I kind of want to follow in his footsteps too. Right? I teach Tai Chi full time, and I'd like to learn how to heal.
Yeah. Once you have developed a little bit chi in this, then you can use that for the healing. Unfortunately, that time his daughter Sonia Yang. Have you seen Sonia's stuff?
I saw her picture on your website.
Yeah, Sonia. Sonia is an excellent Tai Chi fighter, in fact.
Oh.
She actually saw Wu Juntin teach his father, and she was 2-3 years old. So she was in the room, saw Wu Juntin teach his father. Now Sonia, when he is born, has some difficulty. So she's always very weak when she was very young, and has some real problems. In fact, Wu Juntin, after taught my teacher the form for quite a while, and he has a lot of chi already. So Wu Juntin said, now I'm going to cure your daughter, and I'm also going to use this opportunity to teach you how to treat people, the treatment technique. So Sonia is the first casework that the Wu Juntin teach my teacher how to treat people. So Sonia, after treated, she becomes very healthy, and because the father is always kind of worried about her health, so teach her Tai Chi very early in the game. She is very good in Tai Chi form when she's 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. Okay. Oh, so, but her nature likes to fight. she just loves to fight. So she asked her father to go to another school for Wu Jianquan's son. Wu Jianquan's son in Hong Kong.
Would that be Wu Kong-yi?
Wu Gongyi. Wu Gongyi has Wu Gongyi has the Wu Tai Chi school in Hong Kong that I'm in charge. But his school is very much into fighting. Okay, he loves fighting. So Sonia wants to go to that school. Father said, okay, you go with Wu Gongyi. So when she is 14 years old, she joined that school. And that school are all kind of grown up men in there, learning fighting. She's the only little girl. She's tiny, little girl in that school doing the fighting.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And she's brave. I mean, fighting with all these grown up men.
Yeah.
She's a natural born fighter. She, in fact, doesn't like to teach Tai Chi especially to beginners. She's impatient. It's very much like a Yang Shaohe. Yang Shaohe same way.
That's Yang Chen Fu's brother, right?
Brother, he is so good when he is young, okay? Because Yang Shaohe and Yang Chen Fu's history learning Tai Chi was entirely different. Yang Shaohe, when he is 11, 12, is very good in Tai Chi and really love fighting, just like Sonia, very much. And she is impatient to teach beginners. How come you don't know this? To them, it's natural, like you're born with it. Once you learn that early, you feel like you are born with it. You don't know the difficulty. Some people, little bit older, try to learning Tai Chi, the difficulties. Okay.
So what was easy for them? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, right. It's kind of natural to them. So Sonia actually is Wu Gongyi is a star student in his school. And then I think 17, 18 years old, she sent out to the US to learn nursing career. Then she left school. But the people in Hong Kong still knows her. People
they still know her in Hong Kong?
Yeah, knows her. Because she's been in that Wu school, for quite a while with these people. So
okay. I know from Wu Kong-yi, I believe his son or his grandson was Eddie Wu, I think. Eddie Wu in Canada, right?
Yeah, right. He is in charge of the International Wu Family Tai Chi Association, International Wu Family Tai Chi Association, or International Wu Tai Chi Federation, International Wu Tai Chi Federation.
Okay.
The title.
There's one other Wu stylist that I've watched on the internet for many years, and I've just marveled at his push hands feet, Sifu, and it's a guy named Ma Yu Liang from Shanghai.
Yeah.
I think he was married to Wu Qianquan's daughter, I think.
Yeah. Now, Ma Yu Liang, you don't see Ma Yu Liang play form, just push hand. What you see?
Well, mostly
push hand.
Yeah. But he does have a couple videos and called the Wu style fast form.
No, it's not real.
Oh, it's not real. Okay.
It's not real. you see, Ma Liang never learned well the Wu style Tai Chi. It's his wife is actually better than him. She teach all her three sons. Her one son was still, I think, in Germany. The Ma's son, three sons. Other two, I think, is in China. One is in Germany. It's all their Tai Chi, all taught by his wife. So Ma Liang think about, okay, let me start something then, so-called fast form, because it doesn't make sense, fast form. The Tai Chi, you should play fast and slow, okay? When I a little younger, I said, when I 60, I played 108 in 3 minutes and less.
Oh,
very fast.
that is fast.
So, it's faster than what the Ma Liang called the fast form. You see, what we said is this. After you learn the form, you're good. You should be able to vary the speed from fast to very slow. Fast has fast difficulty. Slow has slow difficulty. The thing is, when you go fast or you go slow, the form cannot be changed. Okay? So you have to maintain the same form. Now, if you go faster, what you will feel is the centrifugal force will carry your arm and the movement haywire. You cannot maintain the posture anymore because centrifugal force, if you're moving very fast. So you have to have a good internal energy. Then you can go fast and still maintain the form without go haywire. So that's the difference. So you have to build up the internal energy. Then you can go fast. It's not like I learning a fast form. Then that means your form is probably very bastized. It has nothing in it.
Yes.
You have to, in the slow playing, build up the internal energy. Now you can go faster and go faster and go faster. Now, it is true. When you go faster, you will normally, I think another one from the, what is it? Companion from, I actually try a little bit in some of the class, Sandy, and there's another one, two of them together.
No, not just.
Yeah. Anyway, when I let them try a little faster, they say, oh, yes, you will start contract a little bit. Your style become a little smaller. It is actually called a more compact form in the small circle. Your step will be less. Right now, say our heel of the front foot is even with the toe of the back foot, something like that. Okay. In that case, your back foot's toe will come to halfway of the front foot. So your step size is getting smaller. Yes. And your arm, you don't stretch out like this anymore. Your arm is too. Okay. So that's the only change when you go faster. Yeah, right. It's more tighter, even more tighter, really called the tight form. Then, so that's the only change. But every movement still the same as now you are practice. Okay, but that because you start to build internal energy, so you can go fast without go haywire.
So essentially, Shifu, building the internal energy is basically creating an anchor for yourself. So when you move
Yeah,
fast, so
yeah,
you don't
right.
fall around.
Yeah, right. Otherwise, a centrifugal force will, will throw your arm out if you cannot hold it in.
I definitely see what you're saying, Shifu, because because now I'm practicing more round form now, right?
Yeah,
And so what I'm noticing is if I vary between two speeds because when I do the square form, for some strange reason, I have to do it slow. I
right.
have to do it a
Yeah,
lot slower than when I do the round form, right?
yeah,
Now, when I do the round form, I notice I have to keep my speed down because sometimes, right, I lose my balance, and I don't
right.
think that's very good. But
Yeah,
that's why I have to keep the speed down. I can't do it
yeah,
fast.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. You haven't get to all around the internal energy yet. So, so there's no such thing as fast form because that is ridiculous. That means you are taking shortcut. Your movement must be taking shortcut. That you don't have internal energy, you can move. Your movement must be a shortcut. Okay. Now, go slow also is difficult in the round form because in the round form, you have to keep internal energy circulating in the body without break, right?
Mm.
If you go
Wow.
slow, go slow, pretty soon you're going to have a break.
Yeah,
See what I mean?
it's true, Sifu. It's true.
Yeah. So,
Because you can only hold the tension for so long.
yeah, right. So fast is difficult, slow is extremely slow is also difficult. But when you go, the really fast form is in fact it is the fighting speed.
That's the fighting speed.
Yeah.
Wow. Now you just threw me for sexy food. That the really fast form is for fighting.
Speed. Well, the fighting also in fighting, as I said,
Mm-hmm.
you are using all your capability. So sometimes, you slow, depend on the opponent, you slow. But sometimes you have to be fast to get him off balance. So in other words, you will have to be instantly from slow to fast. Well, I mean, external martial has that too, right? You move could be slow and suddenly fast. So it's not that you always fast when you're fighting, but when you need it, it could fast. You go fast.
Nice.
So the fast form is really for the fighting. Fast form.
All right. That's cool. That's cool. Now I definitely understand that. It makes sense.
Yeah. You see, our um, when I teach and when you practice, this kind of move actually are too big for fighting. We are teaching and learning size because I cannot teach small. If teach small, even now, people cannot see what I am doing. If I teach small, you're not doing anything. See, so the teach has to be a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. So you see what I'm doing, right? And you are learning, you have to be a little bit bigger too, so that you know exactly what you are doing. But this is a teaching and a learning size we are doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you yourself will start compacting it into the fighting size. The fighting size. Yeah.
Okay. So bringing it from big to small is not just about relaxation and stuff. It's also about the fighting ability.
Yeah, right. And but for teaching have to be slightly bigger so you can see what I'm doing. Even taking the video, you can tell much more clearly what I'm doing. If it's too small, you cannot see what I'm doing, right? In the
Right. Makes sense.
video.
It
Yeah.
makes sense. It's the same thing I say to my students. Like when I'm at the community centers and I'm on the big stage
Yeah,
and the
yeah, yeah.
whole ballroom is full of
Oh no,
students.
they can't see anything sometimes. People
Exactly.
in
So
the back.
I have to make the big frame
Yeah,
form even bigger.
bigger, bigger. Yes.
Yeah. So like when I'm doing brush knee, instead of doing brush knee like this, like small like that, I
Yeah,
have to go like this.
bigger,
so they can
right.
so they can see
Yeah,
what I'm
right,
doing.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the teaching and learning sides.
That's the
The
small circle.
fast, small, real compact, that's the fighting size you get into it.
Right, I see that. See, that's the second point on the size of on the size that you have made, Sifu. That makes it functional. Like especially with which one is this? The Jade Lady works the loom, right?
Yeah,
Um, I was at first going out like this, right? Like
right. Yeah,
far. I mean,
yeah,
going out far like this, right?
yeah,
But now
yeah,
what I'm noticing, if I keep it a little bit closer,
yeah.
right, I can control myself and I can use my waist better.
More, right. Power more. Has more
Yeah.
power. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Right.
it's true. Sifu, what you're talking about the frames and stuff. That's this might be a really old system, but it's some new facts I'm realizing and stuff, Sifu. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. So
Yeah,
again, once again, Sifu, we're saying that Tai Chi is a defensive art, right? So we never come out of or should I say, we're always try to be in control of our center of gravity, right?
yeah, yeah.
So momentum is never something that we use.
Use because we supposed to take opponent's momentum to our advantage. That's what we neutralizing. The term neutralizing is I'm taking your momentum and take advantage of your momentum, usually. Okay. So if we are specializing in that, so then we ourselves don't fall into the trap to give opponents a lot of momentum to utilize.
Yes, we don't ever want to give somebody like a little piece of thread because they'll take advantage of it.
Yeah, of you, right, right.
That makes absolute sense, Sifu. That makes absolute sense.
I know the whole thing, everything is very logical. That's the thing. I'm learning all these years. I just find the things are so logical, they're following logic. Nothing, mystical or anything. There's logic. So these old masters, I just so admire them. They're so much ahead of time in their thinking, logic and optimization, and those kind of terms. It is just, I just see them to be such a technically superior person. This optimization and the logic structure, everything is logic. Such a admiration I have for them.
As everybody should, Sifu. It's like I remember one time you had said that if these principles, if all of them happen to be true, that means they should be applicable at all times.
Right. Yeah.
In all situations.
Yeah. So again, I want to come back to this sports video. I said one of the things we do is teach how people to maximize their inherent power. Well, these top sports players learn how to maximize their their inherent power. They use the Tai Chi move.
I've seen your videos, Sifu. I've seen those videos.
Yeah.
And the way how you break them down, I've seen it before, but I've just never noticed the detail in how you break it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, once you break it down, then you see, wow, they are using the Tai Chi move. They get the maximum out of their body. They get the maximum out of their body. Yeah.
You know, for anybody who's actually watching this interview, I would very much like for you to go and check out Sifu's videos on YouTube on sports. He covers different players like tennis player Roger Federer. I think he also does Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Different sports. So go ahead and check out those videos. Right now, the thing about the sports, right, and being able to apply all of these principles into the sports as well, right? This is something that you came up with personally, right, Sifu? You noticed this all yourself.
Oh
right?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Nobody before think that way. No, nobody. They somehow cannot break the movements down because there's some critical movement because usually before they touching the ball, before the crucial moment of touching the ball, they are using external movements. Okay, they turn the whole body and sometimes just move the arm. But when they come to kicking the ball, that's when they use the maximum. They need the maximum power is at that point. But don't forget, the internal power distance is very short. I always said. You only have a short distance. The stroke is very short. Using the maximum internal power, the stroke is very short. It's not a long stroke. This is a much longer stroke, external. But the internal, the stroke is very short. Okay? Yeah. This is much longer. You can, much longer. So only when they are very close to touching the ball, they switch over to the Tai Chi internal move to get the maximum power out. So you can see them using external, like arm swing, that kind of stuff. But once you come to the ball, they stabilize their system, the structure, body structure, and using the internal, give the last hit. And even afterwards, you should let it go, right? Because the follow through move, you should let it go. Mm-hmm. They let go the arm, but the body structure still maintained. They never turn their waist. They never turn their waist. So, but it was once after hit, their body structures keep constant, not turning their waist, not turning the other side arm if it's a quarter body move, something like this. Very consistent. So I saw somebody not as top player as them, then they are not consistent. They will sometimes, after they hit, they will turn their way, turn their hip, turn their hip, that kind of thing. So this guy is consistent and single-minded. They carry out the Tai Chi internal move at the hitting, single-minded, never deviate. They become the top player. Because,
and I know what you're saying before, Sifu, is very true. Everything that you're saying about mechanics is very true. And I remember I was telling one of my students about this, about quarter body movement and the half body turn and stuff internal discipline. And a light bulb went off in her head. I could see it because this is what she said to me. That's the same thing my tennis coach tells me.
You got
Use
it.
the
Yeah,
waist, turn the
yeah,
waist.
yeah.
So even seasoned pros, not even the top guys, but even just the regular coaches know that you need to turn your waist as well. Right?
Not the hip.
But the thing
Yeah,
about but the question is whether they do it or not.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, right. Especially when the crunch time comes. You see, like these ball games, you know, they hit about 1,000 shots, right? A ball
Yeah.
game. So if you're 99% correct to 90% correct, there's also winning lose there. Even difference between a person who do consistently 99% compared to a pretty good player, they do 90%. But in the tournament, because you hit so many balls, this 10% difference, it will show up. One wins, the other one loses. You know?
Yeah, yeah, that is a big difference.
That's
That
the
ten, that
difference.
that 9% difference you say will
Yeah.
definitely. Yes.
Right.
Yes. All right. So Sifu, I have a question for you. Right? Okay. So we're talking about power. Generation that's with the waist turning, the quarter body movement and the half body movement. And Sifu.
Yeah.
So another very important aspect apart from just power generation is balance. Would you agree, Sifu? Balance, being able
Yeah.
to stay stable and stuff. So do you have any advice?
The balance is when your
Oh,
upper body using a power, you have to match with your foot supporting structure. In other words, if you are doing the upper body and your foot not in the right place, you're going to lose your balance. So, because when you're using the power on the upper body, in many cases, it transmits to your foot, which is touching the ground. Because like when you do this push, I said, when you do this push, the power is come from the waist. So the power from the waist coming up to give you the push, but there is an opposite force because Newton's law. A force coming, there must be opposite force in opposite direction, same magnitude going down the leg. Okay. And in that kind of situation, so you have to manage the opposite force correctly. If you don't, then you may lose your balance. So the pause, yeah, because there is always an opposite force. When you apply a force, there is an opposite force in your body also generated. Then it has to go somewhere, and you have to. Now sometimes, like this football player, the quarterback, they will jump and throw. In that case, their foot are not touching the ground. Okay, so the opposite force is only stay in their body. So it's their body is the absorbing the opposite force, but they do not touch the ground. Certainly, if the foot is touch the ground, the throw will be much more, even more powerful than in the air throw because you are not touching the ground. So your opposite force has no solid foundation to go to. Okay. So if you jump and throw is not the same as you are on the ground and throw. That's what I'm saying. Two are different.
Okay.
The one on the ground is stronger. Yeah.
So would you say that your balance is correlates to your posture? Would you think? Because like when you're explaining about when we push and the force, the equal force coming in the opposite direction
Yeah.
from when we're pushing, right? It makes me think of like when we're pushing forward and the force coming back to us, and we want to put the force down, we want to put that force down to the ground,
Yeah.
right? Would that would be highly dependent on our posture whether we get damaged or not, right?
Yeah. Your posture. That's right. Yeah. And if you are, the best way is the force coming back, go straight down to the ground. If you have an angle, if your foot is crooked at the angle, your body may tilt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the energy might get caught in that angle, correct?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I have a situation to tell you about with that, Sifu. So I had a student today. She had said to me that she was having back problems. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, this is the class where I teach the standard 24 form, the Yang 24 form, right? So ever since learning from you, Sifu, right? I take notice every single time.
Yes.
Any one of my
That's
students.
important. That's important.
Right?
You learn of locking. You learn how to lock. Yes.
Yes, Sifu. So I take notice of every time that my students tell me that they have back problems, especially lower back problems.
You know background.
Right? Because I'm teaching them to do the stance, the forward stance, like how Yang Chen Fu did it,
Yeah.
right? With his back straight up, right?
Yeah.
And going on like that.
Yeah,
right. Right. So Yang Chen Fu does it like this.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I'm noticing that this is how I'm teaching them, and that's the pain that they're getting right here.
Right,
so
right.
Today I told her to do the forward lean and get that straight right
line.
there.
Yeah.
Right? And then turn the waist like how you're telling me to in this posture here. Just turn it like that.
Yes.
And get that stretch and get that twist of the spine. And
Yeah.
funny enough, Sifu, right? After the class, she told me that her back was feeling better.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So it's all about the posture, like you had said before.
Yes.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah. Posture is so important. Yeah.
Right. So that back. So when you're keeping the back straight up like that, and you have that crux, like you were telling me, like the back here, and this is the back leg. So right here, right by your perineum, right, there's like an angle like this.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand.
It's called the stress concentration point.
A stress concentration point.
You have a metal bar. If it's straight, you push on the strength is good. But if you have a bend there, then you push on the metal bar, it's going to fail at the bend.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a stress concentration point.
Okay. Okay. So when it's like that, definitely going to hurt a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And also, what was good too, Sifu, about the posture, I told her to do that exercise that you had taught me, that your Sifu taught you.
Yeah.
With the neck, about pointing the head up. And
Right.
Tilting and turning.
Right.
She said she felt better after that too.
Good.
Right. So I'm definitely finding a lot of use and definitely a lot of value in everything that you've taught me so far, Sifu. I'm teaching other people the same thing, and they're like, "Wow."
Yeah, but those details, most people don't even pay attention to those, but they are really important detail. I mean, if your back gets into the trouble, gosh, you can't even move very much. I'm not talking about martial arts, right?
That's true, Sifu. That is very true. Not only martial arts, everything. Right? I have a friend who had his hip replaced because he had a car accident, and he can't move. Sifu.
He can't move.
It's hard for him to do anything.
I know. I know.
So, but I think I'm trying to get him to do some rehabilitation with Tai Chi, or at least some Tai Chi principles included in that rehabilitation, because I believe that it could help him to get back his mobility,
Yes.
to help him move around. Period.
But what a pity, though. What a pity.
One more question I do have about the healing, Sifu, right? I know I know you had told me that that was who was it? Sonia and Lenny, they learned more about the healing and stuff like that. But say I wanted to learn how to heal, Sifu. What would you recommend would be the best route for me?
For a while, Sonia is teaching healing technique, but I was so absorbed by the Tai Chi form. I said, no, I want to perfect my Tai Chi form. I didn't learn from her. Well, I can ask Sonia if he's still teaching, because he really knows. Okay.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me just my ear fell out there. Sorry about that, people.
Yeah,
Right.
she
So
really knows.
okay. She's still teaching.
No, I don't know what. I moved away before we live in the same town, Rochester.
Oh, okay.
But now she is still back in Rochester. I have to in touch with her, see what's her situation. Yeah. Yes, I think, if you are in a school, want to seriously teach martial art, it is an advantage to have some healing ability. So in case a student get hurt, you can actually, immediately can, sometimes immediate help helps a lot.
Okay. So here's another question, Shifu. So that healing, right? You say it's chi healing, correct?
Yeah.
You're using the chi to heal, so it's more like so it'd be more resembling kind of like, I don't know, Reiki probably,
Yes. Yes.
where you put the hands on, right?
And
Because
in fact, you probably don't want to touch the skin. You want to have a small gap between your hand and the skin. That's what my experience teaching healing my wife tells me. Sometimes, or even thin cloth. So you want to have you want to have a insulating layer between the skin and your hand. The Reiki also not touching the skin. If you know what they do, they don't touch the skin. Reiki, they don't touch the skin. They have just hover above the skin kind of thing.
okay, all right. The reason why I asked this is because in my old kung fu school, right, the teacher, he had this healing thing too, right? But he didn't use his chi. He had this potion called Ditaja.
Oh yeah.
Right? They hit and punch lotion, I guess that's what he called it. Right? And he'd massage it onto you. It would be a concoction that smelled like death. Right? But and then he'd massage it onto you. And then you'd be stuck with this smell until you took a shower.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So it's not
they all use that too. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a Chinese herbal medicine. It's a herbal medicine. Yeah. But
really
Sonia is mostly using qi, and I think her father too using qi mostly.
I want to say thank you very much for speaking.
You're
with
welcome.
Me again.
Yeah.
Right? It is always a great pleasure to have any kind of conversation with you, Sifu, because I learn a lot every single time.
Okay. And you are applying. I'm really happy you're applying the knowledge you get right away. Right?
I try. Well, Sifu, I try.
Yeah.
All right, then, Sifu.
Okay.
I will let you go right now, Sifu, while I go ahead and edit this up,
See you
and
Sunday.
I will send you a copy of this interview. Okay?
Okay. Very good.
Definitely, Sifu. Thank you very
See you
much.
Sunday. Yeah.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good night. See you Sunday. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.